Hello, friends. It's John Lone King, and here I am with my next episode of my podcast, From Profits to Properties, where I help you with business tactics to help build your profits in your business to beyond your wildest dreams, and then I help you turn those profits into long-term wealth through strategies and tactics that help you through acquiring real estate. Whether it be your primary residence, a second home, or a set of investment properties that you want to invest in, I'm here to help guide you with real estate strategies. You don't just need to be a business owner. If you're not a business owner, but you want to learn about real estate, you're still in the right place. Just listen loosely to the first half, and then the second half applies 100% to you. Now, what I'm going to talk about today in the first half, focused on business owners, people who are in a decision-making capacity, is actually a concept I was taught a long time ago. And it was a phrase that a great business is a boring business. Well, what do you mean, John? A great business is a boring business? Yeah, a great business is a boring business. And where does that come from? It comes from really understanding the opposite, which is an exciting business where everything is new all the time, where you've got unexpected things coming your way, and every single day you're tackling a new challenge. A lot of people thrive in that environment. A lot of people are addicted to urgency. Stephen Covey, same guy who wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, wrote a book called First Things First. And it talks about the urgency addiction. Many business owners love the adrenaline rush, love the drive that comes from solving a problem. And when things just go the way they're supposed to go, well, that's kind of boring. And for a lot of people, they just feel like, man, that's not very exciting. And that's not what I'm here to do. I want an exciting business. Well, find a different way to get your excitement. Find a different way to get your adrenaline rush in business. If you want a great business, you want to have a boring business. You want to have a predictable, repetitive, stable business that you know what's going to happen from day to day. Let's take a couple of different looks at this. First of all, when it comes to the amount of business that you do, a great business is boring. You're getting the same amount of business in every single day, week, month, and year. That's predictable. If you have really high highs and really low lows, well, that may be great because it's super exhilarating when you're busy and super stressful when it's slow. But you might say, gosh, but that drives me. That drives me to do more when it's slow. Maybe, but you got to figure out a different way to be more consistent in your prospecting, more consistent in your sales activities, more consistent in your fulfillment activities so that you can have a steady stream. Otherwise, how do you ever grow your business and bring on staff? How do you grow your business and know enough about what you're going to bring in the future to know how many staff people you need? To have a really high high and a really low low says, okay, well, during the best months, I need 3 people. During the worst months, I can't even pay myself. Well, then you really can't ever grow your business beyond an I business. An I business is just me. I'm the only one that's doing it. And if you don't have predictable income regularly happening over and over again, it's really hard, really stressful to grow from an I business to a we business, to add team members. So that's one area where you want stability, you want predictability. The next thing I want to talk about is just our process, our systems. Whether it be sales and generating new business systems, whether it be fulfillment of how you take care of your clients, a great business is a boring business. You're doing the same things every single day. There was a realtor friend of mine, he passed away a few years ago, really great guy. But one of the things that he and I talked about a lot was, hey, Randy, it doesn't matter what you do, just do the same thing. Because Randy was always looking for the shiny new thing. And he was very distracted by squirrel, okay? You know the reference from the Disney movie Up. But the fact is that if you are distracted by shiny new things, that's good because it means you're willing to step outside the box. You're willing to look at new things. But there should be a process for that in your business. There should be an amount of time that you're spending trying new stuff while spending the rest of your time consistently executing on what has worked. And so many times over and over again, I said, Randy, anything you do, any coaching program you pick, any sales process that you follow will work if you consistently implement that process. But when you keep switching from one process to another, you're never going to see the amount of success that you can. And he said, yeah, but it's kind of boring. Like I get bored of that process and I'll work on that one process and then I'll see something more exciting or more likely to generate faster results. And so I want to do that. And I'll remind you, since Randy's not around to be reminded anymore, I'll remind you that that doesn't work because you're starting over from scratch. So even if that other process will get you results faster, unless you're doing a wrong activity, the activity that you've been doing, you've already got time served. You've already got investment into that activity. And so to say, I want to do the other thing because it's going to provide me faster results, great. Maybe that other thing will give you results. Let's think about weight loss. Maybe a certain weight loss diet you see will have you losing weight in 30 days. The other diet that you're in, it takes 90 days, but you're already 75 days into it. You're going to see results faster through sticking with the other one, even though it took longer to work. Why? Because you've already invested the time into it. Now, I'm not telling you keep doing something just because you're afraid of stopping doing something that could have been working. So here's the other side of that coin is you think about, hey, should I continue doing this thing or should I not? Do not be in the mindset of saying, well, John said, by the way, I love if you say John said, but don't be in the mindset of saying, well, I was told that, you should always just continue doing what you've been doing. Well, that's the definition of insanity. Continuing doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is insanity. But if you're getting results and you're happy with the results, then don't change the thing that you're doing. More importantly, if you haven't given it the time to achieve the results, then you can't stop it. You have to commit when you start a new process. When you start something different, you got to commit enough time to know whether it really works. Again, back to the dieting example. If you are dieting and you don't give the diet enough time, you won't see the results. Hey, I ate really good today and the scale didn't show tomorrow that I've lost a lot of weight. Well, of course it doesn't. You literally just started today. I know, but I didn't get the results I wanted, so I'm switching to something else. You have to make sure you gave it enough time. So when you're implementing new things in your business, and I'm a huge fan of implementing new things in my business, but when you're implementing new things in your business, do not throw away all of the other things, but also do not assume, well, hey, just because I was doing it, I need to keep doing it. You need to pay attention to the results of the activity. You need to tie your results to the actual activity you were doing so that you can track which things actually work, because the opposite happens in our head. We end up in a position where we've done something over and over and over again. And you've got 10 things that you're doing that bring in business. And so you're afraid to stop any of them because you really don't know which one's working. And now you end up continuing to do something that doesn't yield any results or doesn't yield enough results for what it is costing you in time or money. And so you keep doing it though, because you can't pinpoint where the results came from. So don't make that mistake either. A great business is a boring business. It is a system. It is a process that you build, you repeat, and you continue to iterate over time. But give it the time to figure out what is working. And then from there, make a decision about, hey, what should I add? What should I stop? What should I start? What should I stop? And what should I keep doing? That is one of my favorite activities to do annually. As we head into the fourth quarter, it's a great time for you to think about start, stop, and keep. And it's the same thing I've just been talking about here, which is, hey, what are the things that I have wanted to do that I should start doing? What are the things that I'm doing that I should stop doing? And what are the things that I'm doing that I should keep doing? So follow that exercise, think about that in your business, and grow yourself to an amazing business that goes beyond your wildest dreams. Hang tight through this quick commercial, and then I'll be right back with information about growing your real estate portfolio. Hello, friends. I just want to interrupt our episode today really quickly to talk to you about our multi-unit property loan program. We can loan on up to 10 units of residential properties, and as a matter of fact, even commercial use of some of that space is allowed, as long as it's restaurants, retail, or office space, and that it is less than 49% or up to 49% of the space, and the rest of it is going to be residential units. We can lend with as little as 25% down payment, and we don't care about your income for anything other than the rental income from the property. These properties typically cash flow really, really well. So if you're looking to expand your portfolio, look beyond just 4-unit properties and get yourself to 5 or 8 or even 10 units through my multi-unit investment property program. Welcome back, friends, and thanks for joining me for the second half of our episode. I'm going to talk about maintenance on properties. I know it's super boring, but it fits right into the theme that I was talking about earlier. Maintenance on properties is critical, and it's something you need to be taking care of ahead of the curve, or it's going to cost you significantly in the long run. So I have a lot of clients who own multiple investment properties, and I was talking to a property manager recently, and they were talking about the challenges they run into on turning over a property. You have a tenant that's been there for 2, 3, 4 years, and you end up with a significant amount of repairs that have to be done at the time that the tenant moves out. And I was told the number one thing that makes the difference between the amount of repairs you have to do versus the ones that have very small amount of repairs to be done is annual inspections. If you don't have that already written into your contract, write it into your contract with your property management company, make sure they're doing it, write it into the contract directly with the tenant that you are allowed to come in and do annual inspections. And then more importantly, do them. Do the annual inspections. Because when you go out and you have an annual inspection done, I know some property managers will charge you extra for this. That's way less than what it's going to cost you in the long run for the extra amount of repairs you have to get done. I want you to think about this. If you're a tenant, you're renting a property, and your landlord says, hey, I'm going to come do a property inspection once a year. Well, first of all, it's kind of like your parents saying, hey, I'm going to double check your homework and make sure you got it all done before you go to school. Well, the first day you say that, they're freaking out, and then you don't check. And then the second day, they're still a little worried, but you don't check. By the third day, you didn't check their homework. They know you're not going to. They're not going to get it done. Okay, so you have to inspect what you expect. Literally, in this case, inspect what you expect. You expect the tenant to keep the property in good shape and in good working order. And so you need to go out to the property or send a representative out to the property to do an inspection. Now the tenant knows you're paying attention. If there are issues that need to be repaired, first of all, if there are issues that are on you as the landlord, you'll want to know about them early, right? If you've got a problem in your house and you fix it early, it costs you significantly less than if you fix it later and it becomes a bigger problem. So you want to know about issues early on, even if it means it's your responsibility. But here's the other side of the coin. There are things that the tenant might be doing that aren't appropriate. Maybe the tenant is supposed to keep up the maintenance of the landscaping. And you go out there once a year, and the first year you go out there and it's like, hey, everything is dying. And now you can hold the tenant accountable for that. You can fix the problem before it gets completely out of control. Maybe the tenant is destroying the inside of the house. Well, they are less likely to actually do that if they know you're paying attention. If they've been there 3 or 4 years and it's been deteriorating over time and you've never looked, you're going to end up with a significant problem more often than not. So be predictable in the actions you're going to take. Be predictable in your tenant knowing that, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to check this once a year. You can set it to check it every 6 months. You could say every 6 months for the first year and a half or 2 years, and then every year after that. However you want to do it, there's pros and cons to both. But the fact is, inspect what you expect. Your cost for repairing the property and getting it ready for the next tenant is significantly reduced, statistically speaking, if you're doing regular property visits that the tenant knows that you're going to be doing it, and then they see and experience in you doing it. Even if the first one comes back and there are problems, they know you're actually going to do it, which means they're going to pay even more attention going forward. So if you own investment properties, you need to implement this tactic. You need to do regular inspections of the property, whether it be every 6 months, every 12 months. That's up to you. Talk to your property manager. Give me a call and I'm happy to talk through it with you. But that is the number one thing that you can do to decrease your costs long term, is to make sure that you are doing regular inspections and that your tenant knows that that's going to happen. Thanks everybody for listening. Please know I'm interviewing for the job. If you're looking for a lender to take great care of you, whether it be buying your primary home, a second home, or an investment property, I'm interviewing for that job and I'd love the opportunity to serve you. Hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day and we'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.